So we're standing there on the corner of this cultural village, about as far away from the airport as you can be. Gotta get back. Our flight's gonna leave soon. We still have to pick up our baggage and go through security. We're trying to order a cab on this damn app, and they keep coming, but they're on the wrong side of the road, and they just kind of they look around, and then they drive away, like a couple seconds before they give up on us. Okay, so Busan, South Korea. I know we've already done Seoul, South Korea, which is going to be kind of similar, right? But Busan is definitely its own animal. And today we're going to go through my 5 category rating system that I developed, right? We talk about cost, talk about cleanliness, we talk about transportation, talk about things to do, and we talk about how welcoming the people are. Rated on a scale of 1 to 10, we come up with an average at the end. If you want more information on the rating system, go to the video listed in the description. It talks about it in a lot of detail, right? But moving on, we're going to save time today. So, starting right off with cost in Busan. Very similar to Seoul. You go to kind of the commercial areas, the more developed, like a store, like a mall, like you'd see in the States, right? And it's more expensive than probably what you'd be used to. So we rated just a little below average at a 4. But if you go to the markets, which they're everywhere, they're cheap, there's all kinds of stuff in there. You might not be able to get like your actual real Gucci backpack or whatever you're looking for. Maybe you can, but you'll be able to get something that'll look real close to it. Anyway, it's going to be cheaper. People are nicer. It's a cooler environment, in my opinion. And there, I would say your cost is about a 6, right? The higher number, cheaper the stuff. So we add that 4 in the commercial areas and the 6 in the markets together. That comes out to an average of 5, which is really just average, kind of what you'd expect. The airport seemed to be very expensive. I think that's normal everywhere you go, but we did notice that the airport was way more expensive than anything else. So overall, it's probably what you'd expect to see in the States. Cleanliness. So overall, everything was clean. The commercial areas were cleaned. The trains were clean. The like public facilities were clean. Even the markets. This is where I was a little bit surprised because the markets here in Busan seemed cleaner and better kept than the markets in Seoul, which is kind of cool. You still have that market atmosphere, just without like the creatures running over your feet. So overall, the cleanliness for Busan. So do kind of the same thing, right? We'll give a grade for the commercial areas, and then we'll give a grade for the markets. So the commercial areas, super clean, immaculate. We give an 8. Very, very high on the scale because it's hard to beat. And the markets, while they were cleaner than what we saw in Seoul, we still gave it a 4, just a little bit below average. All that averages out at 6.5. The transportation. So we're going to give a little bit of a disclaimer here. Most of the time that we were in Busan, we were rushing. We didn't really have time to stop and figure out how to use a transportation system, even though it was stupid easy. We just didn't want to deal with it. We just took cabs, which were reasonably priced. The cab drivers were friendly. Took us exactly where we wanted to go. They have big apps that display. It shows exactly where you're going, when you should get there. It's all very accurate, and you can see. I've been places, right, where you're like, oh man, are we going where I want to go? Because this does not feel like it. None of that. In Busan, it's all displayed so you can see it. You know you're going where you're supposed to go. Anyway, so this rating is really only going to be for the taxis. They were definitely above average. They were awesome. Cost was good. Easy to use. You can get them up on an app. For the most part, they're easy to use. We'll get back to that. But for transportation, we gave a 6. The next category is things to do. There are so many things to do in Busan. You have temples, you have museums, you have parks, you have beaches, you have just sightseeing. You just drive around and look at cool stuff everywhere you go. One of the cool things that we did go look at, the Gamcheon Cultural Village. I'm pretty sure I said that wrong, but it's like this cool village nestled in like this cool little mountain valley, and the buildings are all different colors, and there's markets on the streets, and they made it really nice. They even have spots where you can stop and like do the weird Instagram selfie with some kind of statue or symbol or something. But very awesome, cool markets that were reasonably priced. Pretty easy to get there in a taxi, right? Uh, and there was not a lot of people. We were surprised. It was the day that we were there. It's kind of drizzly on and off, but it was still beautiful, beautiful weather. And it's just really cool. This cultural village. What else is there? You ride cable cars. There's, excuse me, coastal roads. You drive down like that road in California. Was that Highway 1 or 5 or something? I don't know. You drive down. It's pretty. It's in all the movies. They have that there. The street food. Oh my gosh, I love street food. And there's so many places there. We went to the Samyeon Food Alley. Amazing. Again, warning on street food. I think I've said this before. You can absolutely contract dysentery and die. We didn't do that. It was awesome. No one in my family did. We all had the straight food, and nobody got dysentery. So I don't even know what dysentery is, but Oregon Trail, right? They're always dying. I assume that's something to do with food. But it was awesome. It's cheap and doesn't give you dysentery. What else? Markets we already talked about. There's an aquarium. There's all kinds of stuff. The list goes on and on and on and on and on. We definitely were not there long enough to do everything. We rated that an 8, very, very high on the scale because there's just endless stuff to do. And the welcomeness. So I've been to South Korea multiple times in my life. I've been to Busan multiple times. Busan is in my top of the favorite cities, and the main reason for that is the people. The people are so cool. So there's not this last time that I'm actually talking about, but a time before that, my friend and I were lost on the subway, and we couldn't read what was happening. This is a while ago, and it wasn't as friendly to people, but the people were friendly, right? Not the subway itself, but the people were friendly. And we had this random dude who got off the train, and he saw us there, and he's like, "Oh, you having difficulties?" And we're like, "Yeah, we're trying to get here." He didn't tell us how to get there. He took us there. It was the opposite direction of where he was going. He like herded us back on the train, took us there, got off the train, walked us to where we were going to go. It was probably close to a mile away from the train station. And then he was like, "All right, have a great time." And we were like, "Wow, it's crazy. You're so nice." Anyway, that's a story I tell a lot because just it's hard to describe how cool and how friendly the people are in South Korea. They are genuinely welcoming. I think the highest score you can get on the scale, like it goes into detail, it says like you feel like you're adopted. Like these are your family now. They're not quite there, but they are so awesome. They'll do anything for you if you ask them. So give an 8 for the welcomes. That's all the categories that we have. So what we do now is we average it. It's not a true average. I mean, it is a true average, but then you multiply it to make it look more representative. Anyway, too many words. So, what did Busan rate on our scale? 67, which isn't the highest, and that's mainly because of the cost, right? But such a cool place to go. Highly recommend it. So back to the taxis. So we were in the cultural village, which is very, very far away from the airport, especially when you're in a hurry to get back there. But you order a taxi on a cab, and we kept ordering them, and they would come to the opposite side of the road. The driver would be like, "No one's here," and take off. And you know it's your car because it gives you a license plate number on the app. And this happened a couple times before, and we couldn't cross, right? Because you have to time and go with the light, and we could never make it over there. There was a reason that we stayed on our side ordering. Anyway, long story short, we eventually got a cab, made it back to the airport in time. We flew out on time, and we were going to catch a cruise, a princess cruise. That's an upcoming one. We will definitely review the Princess Cruise Line and the experience we had there. But that's it. That's Busan. 67. Awesome. Highly recommend. So, bye.